stupid Star Trek question.
It was a really cool video. I wish you could have seen it.
That you should ask them for.
Although I do think the nudity was unnecessary.
I think it's an artistic choice.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
But at the same time, you could have asked.
All right, so first question. According to Q, what is Worf's favorite pastime? That comes from Mark. So what do we think? What is Worf's favorite pastime?
Avoiding his son.
Aww. All right, we've got a
I
question.
think womp womp is what Worf says on Alexander's birthday. Father, look, I made a cake for myself. He's womp womp, and then he leaves.
All right, Mr. Shatner in This Side of Paradise. What was the combination to Kirk's safe?
8008135. And there's some hit people in the audience.
There are some very good math people. I'm proud of all of you. I had a calculator. Never really used it. All right, this
Don't explain it to the children.
Yeah, the children are not ready.
Oh my gosh, she's laughing. You explained it to her.
Oh no.
Oh, she got it on her own. That is a gifted child.
We like that kid. Math. Ladies and gentlemen, please. All right, so this is from Benjaminic. Why aren't there more common areas on a starship like they are on a cruise ship? So you've got 10 forward, and then you've got the holodeck, and then...
When you get the holodeck, do you really need more common areas?
What? What I'm saying, just want to go out and look at the stars.
Then go to your room. Go to 10 forward. Go to the bridge. Go to the observation lounge.
What happens if it's like crowded?
There's 1,000 people on the Enterprise D, and they could all fit on one level. I'm pretty sure they can find someplace on the ship that is not crowded. I watched a YouTube video that said that the Enterprise could...
You watch YouTube?
I do, yes.
Do you watch our show?
No.
Oh.
I don't know. I saw a YouTube video where it said the USS Enterprise with a crew of 1,000 would basically be a ghost town. That you would literally never see anybody because of how big the ship is. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they could find an empty window.
All right. Would anyone be interested in learning a mixer dance on the starship? Maybe that's what they need another
What
room
is a
for.
mixer dance?
I don't know. Does anyone know what a mixer dance is?
I think that's whenever I put one of those Playmates figures in a blender and hit go. Isn't that a mixer dance?
Does somebody know what a mixer dance is? Anyone? You would?
A mixer is just where people get together.
Just to get together and dance?
General people that get
People like
the electric slide.
Okay, wait.
It's an archaic term.
Okay,
so you
hold
think it's an
up.
electric
No. We know from lower decks that Klingon acid rock is a thing.
Yes.
And if you've got Klingons playing acid rock, what have you got? Klingon mosh pit.
Oh.
It's just like a human mosh pit, but people die.
Oh. There is no honor in moshing. Trek Trap asks, do you think the toilets are the same in the future, or do they just beam out the poop? There's always a poop question at these.
Okay, so I have to approach this seriously. One, with as many transporter accidents as we've seen on the ship, I don't want my colon ending up in the toilet. Two, would they split the poop if it was like an enemy within type of situation? Like, would you have like evil poop and good poop next to each other? Like the rainbow unicorn poop next to like evil green poop?
So they'd scan the poop?
Yeah, they would scan the poop. I don't know. I don't think I would trust it. I'd be like McCoy with the transporter. I'd definitely go on a ride in a transporter if I had that opportunity. But if you're going to beam something out of my body, no. No, sir.
All right, so here's a medical question. Any doctors or nurses in the house? Medical, I'll take it. That's close enough. That's more than me. I mean, I'll take it. Could you remove a gallbladder by beaming it out instead of putting it under? Would that work? Yeah? All right, good. We're going to save a ton of money. I'm still paying.
I would say it's possible as long as you have all the parameters set where you're sealing off the various blood vessels at the same time.
His phone is vibrating.
Sorry. I was also an engineer at one time. So.
Oh, so you got the double win.
Yeah.
So they could literally just beam it out and then like seal it?
They conceivably, yeah. If you can put the energy in to take something out, you can also
Close it
find
off.
all the various blood vessels and cauterize them
Do you know what else would be a really 24th century way of getting rid of a gallbladder?
What?
Klingon mosh pit.
Oh,
Yeah, get that bad blood out. All right, we're gonna take your
It
appendix.
wouldn't even hurt. You wouldn't even know until you were out. You'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm missing my gallbladder and 2 kidneys. That may be a problem later.
So Barbara asked, why was the USS Enterprise named after the rental car company?
Because you could always get a Saturn there.
Number 2, you tried on.
Yeah. All right, Dan asked, how did Kirk know that Courage was a bastard? He had no file on him, so how did he know his parental lineage?
Because he knows Klingons, and he probably knows Worf, to be honest.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's got some parental father figure problems. But have we ever known a good Klingon father? Is there even such a thing as a good Klingon father?
Alive or dead?
Define good.
Define good?
Yeah, a father who is like physically present. Have we ever had that in Klingon culture?
Was Martok a dad?
Mark, but he was always gone.
Oh.
So I'm just wondering, is that like a cultural thing?
Is it a cultural thing to emulate your dad? You think Martok took his kid's eye?
I think his kid, if he was a good Klingon, took his eye in solidarity.
Oh.
It's like, Father, I'm so sorry you lost your eye. And here you go. You can have mine. Oh, thank you, son. It's a little small.
Also, from Dan.
Dan is weird.
Dan has a great question. He has 3 kids whom have graduated from high school. Congratulations. Why did not one of their history classes cover the eugenics war of 1996? We lost a lot of good people, and they deserve to be remembered. Bad enough, no one talks about how we lost the Space Family Robinson in 1997, or how the moon blew up in 1999, or the whole Hal debacle of 2001, but I'll save those rants for a different
What about the
convention.
War of the Worlds in the 50s?
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
Quite honestly, I as a grown adult did not know the Tulsa race riots were a thing until they showed up in the Watchmen TV show.
Oh.
So history is unfortunately easy to forget, and I'm sorry that's not a funny answer you were expecting, but I am a teacher and I fully believe in I fully believe in learning from history. You're doomed to repeat it. Anyway, yeah, that's fiction. No, it's fiction. That's why.
Wah, wah, wah.
Father, is it my birthday? Be quiet, Alexander.
All right, so this is where we open it up to you. We want to hear your stupid Star Trek questions. Young man, come forward. Join us up front.
The question is it considered offensive to assume that every Vulcan with a nice robe is an ambassador?
That's a great question.
That is a really good question.
really good
I
question.
think that's just the default Vulcan setting on fashion is just robes. And honestly, I'm a bit jealous. Because there could be fat Vulcans out there and we'd never know.
Oh,
Yeah.
We've never seen a fat Vulcan.
We've never seen
We've
a fat
seen fat
Vulcan.
Ferengi.
But you know what?
We've seen fat Klingon.
We've probably seen a fat Vulcan.
What's that?
It'd be illogical.
They would be illogical. Do your push-ups, Mr. Spock.
Lift hard and prosper.
Lift hard. Is that a gym that you went to?
No, I was in Vulcan, Alberta 3 days ago, and they have a gym there called Lift Long and Prosper.
Wow.
And it's a real thing. You go to my YouTube channel, you'll see the video on it soon.
Yeah.
That was a plug. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. So, when it comes to the Vulcans, I think that, what would their bedrobes look like? Their bathrobes?
They sleep nude
All right.
because it's logical.
Yeah, that's true.
Why give yourself more laundry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on over.
Cheating if you are having a relationship on the holodeck. Is that cheating?
Cover the children's ears, please.
I asked for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
Well, okay. I'm going to sanitize this as much as I can. It's your fault for bringing them here.
Well, romantic, actually.
Yeah, either way.
Okay, in my mind, that is like watching popcorn. It's like watching popcorn and going for a little bit of self-stimulation, so to speak.
Is it
Now-
swimming in popcorn?
Sometimes it depends on what you're into. Now,
No judgment?
I know that there are a lot of marriages who are just kind of like, okay, every once in a while, that's fine. And then there's some people who are just like, oh no, that's just not, you cannot do that. Now listen, there are polyamorous relationships as well that work out just fine. There's polyamorous relationships that work out better than monogamous relationships. I honestly think it just depends on what you and your partner agree on, as long as you're not hiding anything.
Polyamorous, is that like a bunch of people?
Pretty much, yeah. Like polygamous.
Polyamorous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Never mind.
Yeah, like Dr. Phlox.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Phlox was basically,
Yeah.
you wanna sleep with my wife?
Go for
That would
it!
be awesome. We'd be like a family.
Oh, boy. All right.
Honestly, I would love to have a cool uncle like Uncle Phlox.
There was, for anyone who watched the TV show Orville,
Mm.
there was an episode that dealt with this exact same question.
And how did that work out?
Not well.
And it did not work out well. Basically, if your partner is hanging out in the holodeck with other people, then you're
Oh, that was Bortus and Clyden. But okay, in Bortus's defense, Clyden is the worst person in the world.
Agreed.
Well,
Do-
the
do we have-
program had a virus that almost killed everyone on the ship.
Well,
Great question.
okay, that could have been an analogy for something. I don't know. Bortus gets a virus and everyone on the Orville almost dies.
Yeah.
I'm sure that happened on the Enterprise a couple of times with Riker.
I have a quick answer on that question.
Yeah.
Which is, I think Ash Tyler was a good Klingon father.
Oh.
He was. Okay,
Well,
good
father of a Klingon.
Good Klingon father, asterisk.
Yeah, he's the father of a Klingon.
That's the best a Klingon father can get is an asterisk.
Right. And my question is, what happened to Picard's brother?
He burned it up.
Yeah, he burned in the fire.
Yeah, it
But
started
why
generation.
does he never get mentioned in Picard?
Because he's burned up.
And what was the flashback?
He's like a
As
roasted
child?
weenie or something. I don't know.
I know he died, but like in the flashback, he never existed. He
Oh,
burned
yeah,
so
they-
badly.
did mention him.
He burned through space and time. Never to be talked about again.
Because of Picard, he's running around that house all the time,
Yeah.
chasing after his crazy mom, and there's a dad and there's no brother.
There's no-
If I remember right, they did mention him at one point. Like, yes,
Oh,
John,
he's at school. He's away at school.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
John, you have a brother, but the budget will not let us show him on screen.
Okay, Mama.
So, what was the brother?
He was a Cylon.
Pierre?
Robert.
Yeah.
Robert, and Renee was the nephew,
It would've been
who is
really
also
cool.
a bird weenie right now.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
So
Picard is the last Picard until recently.
Until Jack.
Yeah, until Jack.
And he'll burn up too.
Probably.
Yeah. Yes.
So I got a sciencey question.
Oh, good. We're not going to
Yes,
answer
you ready?
this. No.
Yes.
Okay.
Why are there so many moons with atmospheres in Star Trek, and our moon does not have an atmosphere?
Technically, believe it or not, it's either the Europa from Jupiter has an atmosphere.
Titan.
Titan. Okay, yeah. So Titan. Remember what I just said? Forget that. Titan from Jupiter actually has an atmosphere. What else has?
We're gonna get started on that,
it's
just open
got
the door and...
Yeah.
Titan is also the only other body in the solar system where it's been confirmed that has liquid oceans. Now, Europa may have an ocean. Enceladus may have an ocean. Some people even say Pluto might have an ocean, but Titan's the only one that we know 100% sure the oceans are there. There's a picture of them.
All right.
So there you go.
Puts it on water.
The moon does have an atmosphere, by the way.
It does, yes.
Very
It's a very
smooth.
sparse atmosphere.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember reading that whenever the Apollo mission took off, I think it added like 0.006% to the atmosphere, which is actually huge for a moon. So.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a young person question, but she ran back.
You
Did
saved
take her
her
mom
away.
I didn't. It was.
They made me cover my ears.
I think her question is, why do I have to cover my ears? Go for it. Yes, let's hear.
Why doesn't Dow have a family?
Oh, why doesn't Dow have a...
Oh, okay. Oh, you did. Oh, that is a great question. We're talking about Dal from Prodigy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dal does not have a family because Dal never had a family. He was created, kind of like a sea monkey.
Yes.
You know how you put sea monkeys in water and then all of a sudden they're swimming around and well, Dal is a sea monkey. That's why he's got the little thing on the back of his head. And they tried to make Dal out of a bunch of different aliens. So he's part Klingon, and he's part human, and he's part Vulcan, and he's all these different races put together.
So Dow.
And so Dal's a shake and bake person.
Okay, they put him in a bag, they shook a bunch of pieces.
Tiny, she has no idea what she has. Okay.
You don't know what a sea monkey is?
I was gonna say, you assuming she knows sea monkeys?
No, you know, okay.
Okay.
So,
An easy bake oven.
no.
Okay.
Clay, you know clay? Okay, put clay together, and then shoot electricity, well, probably don't do this, but shoot electricity, and it may come to life, and that's how the Tao was created.
Yes.
It was a lab experiment. Yeah! And that's the answer we were looking for.
And that was such a great question.
That was an
Thank
amazing
you.
question. Thank you so much. Let's clap for our young friend here.
Yes. We need more love for Prodigy. It was such a great show.
All right.
Oh, we have another one. Come on up here.
Yeah, come on up.
here.
Are you guys related because you're dressed the same? That's your sister. All right.
Hello,
All right.
sister.
Come on, sister. Come and get this microphone. Go for it.
We made her
How
take
was Graham born?
How was what?
When born?
How was Graham born?
How was Gwen?
Gwen.
born?
Oh.
Okay.
He's got a parents.
Well, Gwen was also made, but unlike Dal, Gwen was not made from a bunch of different people. Gwen was just made from pieces of her daddy.
Mm-hmm.
So Gwen is basically the diviner's daughter.
You're good.
Yeah, and he just made her kind of like a cupcake one day.
Yeah.
Because the other Val and the cop were like, you can't have a cupcake, and the diviner was like, but I really want the cupcake, and he made a cupcake, and that was his daughter.
Yeah.
That was so cute.
Yeah. That's the point of our question.
That was a very funny idea.
Thank you.
You know what? That was a very great question.
Thank you so much.
I love
Appreciate you.
I love.
Looking forward to this because I have all these people here who can check my math.
All right.
All right, so here's my question.
Go for it.
There's 1,024 people on the Enterprise.
Yes.
And one ship's council.
Yes.
Yes.
So if she works an 8-hour day and sees one person an hour,
Yes.
now we're all y'all who do therapy. Like, you get to see the ship's council, if I'm right, twice a year.
Yes.
If you need her.
Assuming she works every day, 7 days a week, and she never goes on an away mission, and she works her rear end off without any breaks or any vacations of any kind, you can see her at best twice a year.
That is true.
That's some really good math, by the way. I'm gonna give him a round of a hand for that.
I'm gonna try.
Math.
I'm terrible at that. Okay.
Aren't you a math teacher?
No.
Oh.
Well, I was, but I'm not anymore for some reason.
Dude, he was terrible at it.
That's fourth grade math. It was easy. Okay. I
Thank you.
do know in the episode The Lost, Troy does mention that she is not the only counselor on the Enterprise. That there are others. Secondly,
Lower decks. Lower decks.
Lower decks.
anyway, secondly, let's be honest. Troy was really bad at her job.
Oh, totally.
She was the worst officer on the ship. And I love Marina Sirtis. I actually really love the character. But if you really just get down to like performance reviews, she was terrible. Because I mean, it's the old joke. They're sitting on the bridge, and all of a sudden the ship shakes. Boom! Captain, I'm sensing that they're mad. Secondly, we have seen her openly discuss what other patients are telling her to people that are not even related to them. She's breaking doctor-patient
HIPAA was
confidentiality.
not around yet during TNG.
What's that?
HIPAA wasn't created, but it wasn't
Oh,
involved.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. There was no OSHA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have
Which is
what I
why
think-
Worf got destroyed by the barrel.
Then we have what I think is the most flagrant example of how terrible of a counselor Troy was, and that was in Star Trek Picard. Whenever she tells Jack point blank, I'm here with you the entire time. I'm not going anywhere. Let me find out what's happening. And then she goes like this. She goes,
I mean, in her defense, that was a lot of red
you
stuff.
want me to, okay?
And then there's also, at the very last episode, where Troy is giving she's doing counseling for Data, who is now human, and
Right.
as she's doing it, she's scrolling vacations.
Yes.
Not only that, but when her husband comes in, she's like, hey, he's batshit crazy.
Yes. Yes.
So-
So she has been discussing this with him at length
Yes.
before he even walks in the door. I wouldn't go see to Counselor Troy with my problems.
No, she's gonna tell everyone. Imagine you walking down the Enterprise and all of a sudden somebody goes, hey, Jimmy, how's them hemorrhoids?
Hey, Ensign Gaston, hey, are you still scared of balloons popping?
There are no secrets.
All right, anyone else want to come? All right, go for it. Come on back up.
I love that jacket, by the way.
Yeah, that's really cool. Did you get it from that thing?
Sorry?
Did you make that or did you get it?
The jacket?
Yes.
I got it at Space Academy.
Oh, so we were actual astronauts.
Well, I
I'm so
put the badges
jealous.
on myself.
Well, yeah, but space.
I wanted to do space camp so much, and I'm so mad.
Did you get to go to space?
And I didn't.
Not yet.
We went to pretend space.
Oh, was
It is
that underwater?
an airlock inside of a building.
Oh, that's more space than I got. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm a podcaster, kids. You never go to space in podcasting, so follow him.
My question is, what is stopping the Starfleet Corps of Engineers from building a 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th warp nacelle on a ship?
Why do we only have most of 4 nacelles?
That is a Gene Roddenberry edict that they broke it a couple of times, but he did say, well, he said at first you have to have 2 nacelles, and they always have to be in a line of sight with each other, because that's how you create a warp field. And then later, we had the Saladin class. That's how big of a nerd I am. I know the name of the ships. We had the Saladin class that has the 1 nacelle, which honestly kind of looks like a ship that's skateboarding. And then they started saying, okay, you know what? Yeah, it's fine to have more than 1, so let's have 4. But that's it. We can't have more than 4. And I'm going to be honest. I love the way that ships with 4 nacelles look.
How many secret siblings does Spock have
Oh.
that we don't know about? What are their names, and why hasn't he told us about them?
Oh, love this question. Great question.
Oh, that's easy. Spock never tells anybody about his family. Because notice, every time we've been introduced to somebody from Spock's family, it's been a surprise to everybody around them. It's like, oh yes, this is my father, the ambassador. And Kirk is like, oh. And then,
yeah? How did you know?
Whenever Cyborg shows up, oh yes, this is Cyborg. He's my half brother. And then that's why whenever Michael Burnham showed up and everybody's like, oh, Spock would have never kept that secret from everybody. I'm like, have you even watched the show? I guess this is just Vulcans. Vulcans keep their family and their work life separate? Maybe?
It's like severance.
Yeah. Personally, I think Sarek might have been just kind of a slut. And was walking around getting logical with a lot of different people, and Spock probably has an army of secret families.
You think Spock has little Spocks? Like there's little baby Spock?
We met Spock's son in the Unification short, because that's who was with Savick.
Oh,
that was
they
Spock's
didn't say anything. How are we supposed to know that?
They didn't need to. It was implied.
That's a heavy implication.
And they did say it in the behind the scenes. That's what
that's
it was,
okay.
yes. Hey, it's been 7 years. You know what that means, right?
Time for more secret children.
Well, first, the Vulcans are definitely weird about sharing certain details, because if I remember correctly, someone figured out Tuvok's birthday because he wouldn't tell them based on when his children were conceived. So.
They did more math.
Yeah, they had to do the math.
I think it's kind of weird that they knew when his children were conceived before his birthday.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, so he shares that, and he won't share his actual birthday.
Yeah. I won't tell you about my secret sibling, but I will tell you about how I conceived my 3rd son. It was a romantic moonlit night on Vulcan. Oh, Vulcan has no moons. Where was I, and who was I with?
Go ahead.
So my question is, in one of the early episodes of Enterprise, Hoshi just leaves a snail on a random planet. And I was thinking that probably destroyed the ecosystems. How many ecosystems do you think have been destroyed by...
Oh, that's a great question.
I think Riker leaving behind has probably wrecked a few of them.
Yeah. We also have the salamander kids of Tom Paris and Janeway. So that whole planet is probably...
lizard people.
Yeah, this is probably... See, I always thought it would have been a good Star Trek movie if the lizard children from Tom Paris and Captain Janeway came back for revenge.
Okay, do you remember how...
Endless possibilities, endless destruction. That's the answer.
Now, do you remember how during Star Trek Picard, I kept saying that I thought that the big bad guys were the butt bugs?
Yes.
And I wouldn't stop with the butt bugs,
Yes.
the butt bugs, the butt
Butt
bugs.
bugs, yes.
Okay, if they ever do a Star Trek Janeway series, which I think they totally should do, because I think that I want to see what happened to her later on, I'm going to be doing the same thing, but it's going to be Salamander Kids. The Salamander Kids are coming back, and that's going to be the last episode, is them chasing aged Janeway down a corridor going, Mommy, Mommy.
I mean, you see one of the Salamander kids in Lower Decks.
You do, yes.
Really?
You do, yes. In that episode where Boimler gets stuck in mid-transport, and on board the ship, you see one of the Salamander kids just sitting there going,
So there's no revenge plot? He's just...
No, he's just
can't breathe. Oh boy, poor boy.
He's in section 31, so we don't know what he's
Yeah, there you go, there you go.
What happened to Antonia?
What happened to Antonia?
Generations.
I'm assuming that Antonia is at a table in some cafe, probably on some foreign planet, maybe Risa, enjoying a cup of coffee by herself, and somebody sits down next to her, puts down her cup of coffee and says, "You mind if I join you? My name's Laris."
That's a deep cut if you watch Picard, because Picard kind of ditched Laris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laris deserved better.
She did. Did anybody finish Picard? All right.
If you didn't finish Picard, oh my God.
All right.
What's wrong with you?
I have a question.
Watching the first 2 seasons, I do understand. I'm just saying, watch the third at least.
Okay, let me rephrase it. Did anybody finish the second season of Picard? Or did we just skip to 3? Oh, those hands got a lot less. Okay. My question to you. Now, Will Wheaton comes back, he's the traveler, and he picks up Dodge. What happens to them?
Yes.
Where do they go? That's a short answer. All right, you first, and then you in the right shirt, and then you in the back. Okay, go.
They go to the writer's room and start writing based on what the travelers are doing.
Okay. You next.
You're worried about Wesley. There's a freaking interdimensional rip that's like being guarded by like new Borg.
Yeah, but
we
the
just
new
sort of
Borg
forgot
got
about.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we were talking about this today in the car.
Okay, great.
So, does Wesley know about Jack?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, but how, why, like, nobody talks about it.
At the end of Star Trek Prodigy's second season, he comes to see his mom. And his mom greets him and he says, "I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to stay in this plane. I just wanted to drop in." And she says, "Before you leave, I want to show you something." And she takes him into the room and you hear a baby cooing. "Meet your brother." And you see Wesley's face just light up. Y'all, Prodigy was 80 times better than it had any right to be. And he deserved more seasons.
Guess what? Is her husband?
Yeah.
Guess what you're watching tonight, buddy? Go for it.
Well, I don't know if this question's been asked because it just came in like halfway in.
It's okay.
So I'll just so what killed Q in the second season?
Oh, that wasn't asked. That's a great question.
Also, and the second thing also too is he says he didn't want Picard to die alone. What
Right.
happened to his son?
Q-son.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 great questions. I'm going to go with one and you go with the other. Which one do you want?
Oh, you pick.
All right. I'm going to take, what did Q die of? So remember when they went into that nebula and they had all those little baby jellyfish? Well, it turns out that was a disease and Q got it.
Do you think that's what it is?
No.
Or you
No,
just
I'm
can't
just
say?
messing up. I'm just joking. No, for real, I think Q died of boredom. When you're an infinite being and you can exist throughout space and time, you probably get super bored, which is why he kept messing with Captain Picard. And when he got hit in the face by Cisco, he's like, "Nah, I'll leave him alone." So I think he just got bored.
You know, my headcanon is that wasn't even the Q that was native to that time period. I think that was a Q who was probably billions and billions and billions years older, who was at the end of his life, and then decided, "I'm going to go back and see my old friend Jean-Luc," and came back and saw him, you know, before he dies, you know. So that's why whenever he shows up at the end of season 3 of Picard, he says, "Oh, you always think so linearly." So,
That's the third question. I'll ask a third question.
Go
I
for
wonder
it.
how that Q linear time works. Does he meet himself from time to time?
I'm sure he would have to. They'd probably get into a fight every once in a while. But to answer your question, what happened to Q's son? Did you see that episode? That's what happened to Q's son. We saw the episode, we didn't like it.
That was actually Q's real son.
It was. That was Keegan Delancey. Keegan Delancey is no longer acting, so that's probably why he wasn't brought in. And I don't know. I wanted to see that explored more. That's why the second season of Picard frustrated me so much, was because they threw out a lot of questions and never answered them, which sometimes that's fine. It works out fine. But these were just like, "Oh, hey, I'm Q. I'm immortal. Also, I'm dying." You know, my first thought is, what? You're okay. So was it just Q dying? Was it the whole continuum dying? I don't know. There was a great book by Greg Cox. It was called, there were 3 of them, they were called The Q Continuum. And in it, the Q Continuum, billions of years ago, met other immortal beings, and they were called the M Continuum.
So we're doing a whole alphabet.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would have liked to have seen, like, you know, what comes after Q? S?
Sure.
R, thank you.
There's a little kid. Sure. R, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would have kind of liked to have seen, like, new people show up and go, hello, we're the R continuum.
Oh.
That would have been, because I don't know, to me,
We don't mess with Z in this house, baby.
Yeah, to me, that would have been kind of like keeping with the whole theme of passing the torch and moving on. But no, they won't hire me as a writer because I want to bring back the butt bugs.
So, why is Q afraid of Guinan?
Ooh. Because she had
Because
big
she-
shut pointy teeth.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, I think that because Guinan is hyper aware, she sees through a lot of his bull crap. And I think that's really about it, is that the Q resent the Elorians more than anything else, is because, you know, whenever Q says, oh yes, we are immortal, they're like, oh no, you ain't.
Yeah.
We're all powerful. No, you ain't. You're gonna die.
I think the Q are afraid of Guinan because Guinan has more powers than we realize. If you saw, I'd be wearing the Picard season 3 shirt, jacket like he is, but he's got pits, and we're the captain's probably. Right?
I lost my badge.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. What was that? So the problem with that whole Q thing is we learned that Guinan had another power. She let out this oil or booze or something, and she did that scream, and so she has these unearthly powers of her own. So maybe they are the antecedent to the Q.
I also think that the Q led the Borg to Guinan's homeworld.
Well, yeah, that's just why she doesn't like him.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that they did that because it's like, oh yeah, they can see through our crap, let's kill them all.
Oh.
But they did it for the Enterprise too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how many people that the Q got assimilated just because they wanted to show off.
Yeah. And we keep learning more about Guinan too. I just downstairs picked up the Guinan action figure, and on the back it says species unknown. So,
Oh, that's incredible.
I know, but we keep finding out things which I think is
We met another Elorian in Deep Space Nine. It was in the episode called Rivals, and he was kind of like a con man. Do you know that he was written to be Guinan's son? And Whoopi Goldberg was supposed to show up at the end to get him out of the not the infirmary. What do you call Odo's place? The
prison.
The prison. Yeah.
The brig.
Get him out of the Deep Space Nine's brig.
Yeah.
But Whoopi Goldberg was not available for the shooting date, so they just said, okay, he's just some random guy.
That would have been great.
That would have been awesome.
really
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Also, since we mentioned Wesley, why do you think he's wearing a Starfleet uniform when he's at the wedding?
I know the answer to this. The canon answer, yes.
There is a canon answer.
So, in Betazoid weddings, what do the guests wear? Nothing. So, Wesley, being a traveler, pops in to this Betazoid wedding, assuming it's going to be a traditional Betazoid wedding, wearing nothing. His mom grabs him, takes him backstage, and the only thing available is a uniform. So, put this on and get back out there.
I'm so glad I asked this question.
There you go.
Yeah. Tell Will you're sorry. Tell Deanna you're sorry.
We've answered long, interesting questions that we had.
I love it. Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
guys.
Make sure you subscribe to our podcast.
I just wanted to see that. I wanted to see that scene.
Captain. Take your shirt off.
Captain's Quadrant.
What?
So you
Excuse me.
yes.
This is a family show.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to see that one scene where Wesley pops up and you know, Troy just kind of goes, "Oh, Wesley, you've grown."
Why are you continuing to grow?
Oh, Jesus.
Of course, Riker does that whole, because you know Riker.
Yeah. Is Riker?
My head canon.
That's the question. Is Riker ? Question mark.
I think lots of okay. So the 80s and 90s, you could not have a queer character.
Right.
It had to be queer coded. Thus Garrick and thus Jadzia. In my headcanon, I do think Riker was at least bisexual or at least questioning.
Gender fluid.
Gender fluid. I think basically if it had legs and other parts, I think it was fair game for him.
Wow.
That's
Are you breathing? Yay!
My species does not breathe. Doesn't matter. Come on. But we saw that episode. Okay, so we saw that episode, The Outcast, where he falls in love with the alien that doesn't have a gender.
Yeah, I remember.
There was a book series way back when by Phil Farron called The Nitpicker's Guide to Star Trek.
Yeah.
And oh, cool. So the other people remember Phil. I love that guy.
Yay, Phil.
He pointed out in this episode that in one scene they say that they inseminate a fibrous husk to conceive their young. And he said, okay, to inseminate something, you would have to have an inseminator. So that basically means that in that episode, Will Riker fell in love with a small-breasted boy. So that's why I'm kind of thinking, yeah, he's going to swing both ways.
All right, stupid Star
Happily
Trek.
swing both ways.
Stupid Star Trek question. Who conquered more, Will Riker or Captain Kirk? Oh, conquered meaning
There is a relation.
Yeah. Well, some people didn't. They were like,
Riker, because he
Riker. Okay.
it was 7 seasons as opposed to 3.
Well, Kirk could
Also,
steer
Kirk
the
died
ship.
young.
Oh, Kirk died young.
Yeah, Kirk could steer the ship wherever he wanted to go.
All those years that Deanna and Riker were together, I don't know that they were monogamous.
I like to think that the Betazoids were fluid than we were led to believe. I will also counter your question with another question. If Will Riker and Captain Kirk were in the same room with nothing but a futon, who would be on top?
Oh. The Riker maneuver.
I don't know, but you also got the flying kick, so I'm just wondering.
Yeah. Generations, what? We don't.
No, I was joking with something he said. He said, Kirk's always on top with Riker, and I said, except for the time when the bridge was on the captain.
Oh, yes. The bridge is the ultimate top.
Well, he always thought he'd die on the bridge. It turned out that he wasn't wrong.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't wrong. All right, and that's going to wrap it up for Stupid Star Trek Question.
We apologize for nothing.